All righty, well, welcome everybody to our Monday night team call. Excited to have all of you with us. I'm here to introduce one of my favorite people is Kathy Helwig. She's the 21st millionaire, which says a huge, congratulations to her. Um, and it's just fun to be on your team, Kathy, because you're a great leader. You're passionate. You're my kind of person because we're both blue. But just so fun to hear you every week, several times during the week. But we just love your passion, love your guidance, and love that you are always there for us whenever we need you. So take it away.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, I'm just honored to be in the presence of you guys. This is a dream. So thank you. So, well, let me first start off with a couple of announcements. There is a seasonal shake coming out, and it's kind of a secret. And there's been a teaser promotion going on with what's the new seasonal shake, kind of an elimination process. And we don't know what's going to be introduced, and it's going to be on Thursday. Originally, it was going to be tomorrow, but they postponed it till Thursday. But so you can still promote the teaser, and I highly recommend that you do. And then on Thursday, you can, post again on what the shake flavor is. And when we have an event to announce, you can always text people to let them know all about it. And I did a training last week on how to do that. And so whether you use just copy and paste and do separate texts, or you use an app like Chirp, or Lynn, what's the name of your app?
Hit 'em up.
Hit 'em up. Over the weekend, I sent out a lot of text messages to my customers, to my former customers, to my prospects, and I sent it out about the Bloom in June reset. And I changed the message slightly depending on who I was sending it to, what category they were in, and I couldn't believe how many responses I got. Actually, I could believe it because that was my intention. I had 21 responses. Some responded with stop, take me off your list, which is great. I love those because it helps me to cull my list and make room for a new person to come in, right? Some sent me messages, blessings and thank yous, just appreciative that I'm staying in touch. One of them let me know that he moved to Australia, but he was still ordering Isagenix. Another one let me know that he just ordered a system for his wife for the first time. Another had started her program last week and asked me a question about accelerators. Two of them said, I want to re-enroll. And one was already a customer and went out and ordered the weight loss value pack. out of receiving a text from me, okay? Just staying in touch, reminding her that, oh yeah, Isagenix, I meant to order some, or I've meant to get back on that. So it's all it takes is to stay in communication with people. And of course, I also sent out a text for the bingo game, which is tomorrow night. And I just want you to know, I've done a lot of this in the past. And of course, I probably have a lot more contacts than the rest of you because I've been doing this for so long. But what I've found is that emails just don't work. I just don't get the kind of responses from emails that I have been getting with text messages. And so I really encourage all of you to use that as a tool for communication, for staying in touch, for letting people know that you care, right? So I suggest that you go out and really start texting to promote the Bloom in June reset, which starts next Monday, right? And then on Thursday, I'm going to be sending text messages about the new seasonal shake. And I'll share with you what I'm saying on a post in the business group, okay? So look for that Thursday morning. maybe even Thursday or Wednesday night. I won't know until Thursday. Anyway, so I just wanted to share all that with you. But tonight we're going to be talking about something that really, it's really how we play a huge part in our destiny, right? And it's something that Dave MacArthur has been training. And so Ariana, I want you to kick that off.
Okay. And by the way, I do know what the shake flavor is.
You brat.
You will not get me to tell you. Of course, you know, Venmo has a real nice option there. Anyway, so I have to tell you, every Monday, and I'm in bed, you know, at 7 in the morning, or it's a little bit before 7, because, you know, I'm kind of getting up and I'm going, oh, wow, there's that call that I want to get on every day, every Monday with Dave MacArthur, because it's a mastermind call. It's a transformational call. It's not just about business. It's about using the conversation call transformation in your business. And so I'm always wanting to do it the night before, but when that morning comes up, I go, oh no, it's 7. But you know what the beauty is? I get to put the earplugs in. I get to stick my little, you know, end of my earphones into my phone. I get to plug in, and now he does it as a watch party. I don't even have to know the number, right? So I go through Facebook, I click in, and his wisdom is just, I don't know, he speaks to me. You know, you find people that speak to you, keep listening to them, because they will get through to your heart. And today he spoke about some really specific things. And it was really how do we respond in life to the things that occur as negative? And I use the word negative only because it seems like when we're in a positive state of mind, we always can move ourselves forward to the next block. But his point really was, anything that triggers you, anything, even things that bring you joy, you know, you want to enjoy them, but anything that brings you into a kind of a new picture. And he used the idea of one of those little negatives, you know, if you're not old enough on this call, you'll probably have some sort of reference to it, but these little pictures with the photo on it, and you get to put it in a machine, and then you project it onto a wall, and you could see a picture, right? He says you got to keep the picture of your vision always accessible, no matter what happens in your day, because you will be taken out. You will have things that will happen. And his example was great. And we have lots of great examples on this call to show you how to manage that. But basically, his example was someone shared, oh, I had a cup that broke. You know, it fell out of my hand and fell on the floor. And the way that I did it was I blessed the cup, and I thought, oh, that's great. I get to open now a space for another cup. And there was a real moment of silence on the call because I was just listening. I wasn't watching. And I went, oh my gosh, what's happening? And I looked over and he said, what do you think I would say about that? So before I share with you what he shared, I would just want to hear some responses to, like, how would you respond to, and a positive response, right? Because we have negative ones, but what would your positive response be to something that might happen? And I love what Aimee said today. She said, like, what if someone that you call says to you, get me off your phone, I don't want to talk to you anymore? Like, how do you respond to that, right? And how do you take it? Maybe you have an initial kind of like knee-jerk reaction, like, oh, that hurt. But then how do you take it and make it positive, right? So why don't some of us share, what would you do in any of the situations in your life to move an event that happens that might be negative to a positive space? And then I'll share with you what Dave does. It's very special. Who would like to share? Daria, I think you're ready.
I don't know if that was my invitation.
It is.
Every year for Christmas, I make homemade Rocky Road candy, and I don't microwave it. I double boil it on the stove, and it takes a long time. It's my husband's job to cut it up and put it into specific bags for all the people in our family. And we're 40 plus for Christmas Eve. And one year he came to the flower shop, asked me to step outside because he had something to tell me. It was Christmas Eve. And he went on to tell me that after cutting up all the candy, 400 pieces, he was cleaning the dishes. It was all bagged. and he noticed that the tip of the knife was gone. And he wasn't sure whether the tip of the knife was gone before or after he started cutting it. And I just started laughing. And he said he took each piece out and looked at every side of 400 pieces, and he didn't see the knife anywhere. And my reaction was, oh, well, we're not going to have stocking presents this year for Christmas. And I could have reacted very differently, but there was nothing that I could do other than laugh because it was out of my hands. And then another one, unfortunately, it's my husband again did yesterday. We're getting ready to move, and he opened up the back of the car, and a beautiful statuary that I'd been saving till we had the right yard fell out of the back of the truck, and it broke. And he came to tell me that, you know, those 3 pedestals that you've been saving? He goes, well, now there's 2. And I said, well, great, now we have a pair. What are you gonna do? They're gone. So that's how I react lately.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Daria, because when I share with you what Dave suggests we should react to those things, you really were taking that on in a really kind of unknowable way. And I have to say, you shared another story. So why don't you do 3? 3's always the charm, right? You shared this story about you're going to be moving to a new home, and it happened out of this just gorgeous blossoming that you didn't even know was going to happen.
Right. I asked my husband about 3 weeks ago if he was happy in this home that I just love in Idaho. And he admitted that he really, really was not happy where we were living. And I decided, well, then let's move. You know, we've only been here a year and a half, and it's a brand new home. So we started looking, and the realtor told me to sit down and write what I wanted and didn't want in the real estate that we would be looking for. So I quickly just sat down and just did yeses and nos and wrote them all down and got really specific about whether there was stone in the house or out of the house. But I mean, like, and how long the driveway was, and how many minutes it was from my son's house, and how many sides of the house we would have privacy on, and how many rooms would be in the house, et cetera, et cetera. And the minute, like 10 minutes after we finished, I looked at my phone, and my realtor had texted, and she had sent me one listing instead of all of them. Like she said, she took the time to send one, and she said, check this out. And I opened up my phone, and it was exactly what I had written down. I mean, like, scary, exactly what I wrote down, to the types of the appliances, to how many rooms, to the views, to everything that we wanted. And it was just like, we went and saw it a couple hours, and it had only hit the market 3 hours prior to me receiving that text. And we went that day and put in an offer, and we're set to move on July 30th, as long as this house passes inspections tomorrow, which I'm sure it will, because it's a brand new house. And so we're moving. But it was crazy. It was like beyond crazy.
Yeah, and just hearing you share about that, it's kind of the nested version of the further down along the line of visioning. You kept a vision, even though you weren't even, like Dave says, you better be aware of your vision every day, right? Because stuff is going to take you out. And when you get taken out, then the picture shuts down. It's like the TV being turned off, right? And you don't have access to generating like what it's going to take to fulfill on the vision, right? So as long as you're not present to the vision. But in your case, it was so natural, Daria. And I'm just so compelled. So does anyone else want to share like a breakthrough that they've had around a negative situation and how they were able to kind of step beyond it and kind of have a breakthrough for themselves?
Well, it's like what you were talking about earlier, with what if somebody rejects your offer, right? And as I was receiving all of my text messages, and some of them were saying, stop contacting me or take me off your list. I did not spend more than 2 seconds on that. You know, I took them off my list and moved on. I just was not going to expend any energy doing that.
I have a new phrase that I'm really embracing, and it's roll with the resistance. And I think it's really appropriate during this COVID time. So I was doing a training on motivational interviewing, and the last point was roll with the resistance. So what I'm finding is that the people that are able to roll with the punches and just kind of go with the flow, and might not be the way you look or way you think it is, but if you're able to just kind of adjust course and roll with it, it's a lot better than trying to buck the system, because there is no control over some of this stuff, and the people that are trying to control everything are not thriving, I would say.
Kim, that is so spot on. I know that Madeline, you had shared something today. I don't know if you think it's appropriate in this conversation here, but it seemed like it was in alignment with what we're talking about here. Do you care to share?
Yeah, I will share. We're all love our personal development, right? And Eddie and I have done wisdom and just love it. Eddie's actually training to become a wisdom course leader now. And one of the mantras in it, and I've been hearing it a lot because, we're all got there's so much going on in the world. If you want something new to happen, say something new. So it's a pretty simple thing, but when you think about like, how do you apply it? What you did this morning, Ariana, listening to Dave and hearing him talk about say something new or don't say anything at all, like, just approach it differently. And I think that's just a great thing we can all look at, like, how can we approach things differently? What can we say different instead of the same old stuff? Because we tend to be like a tape recorder, if you remember those things, or software program, that just does its thing over and over again. Like, you got to break out of it. So that's what I'm hearing. Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, and it's like what we're talking about all tonight, like Kim and Kathy and Daria and you. It's when Dave said, look, there are principles. There are some real core principles. If you follow them, they will give you the things you want in your life, but you have to follow them. And the one that he was referring to with this, and I'm going to give you his answer. So if something broke and it fell on the floor, and he would look at it, clean it up, right? But in his mind, he's going to his vision. So his is the law, the principle of non-resistance, like what Kim was saying, It's like rolling with the resistance, like don't move against the current. Don't push a parked car in your mind, right? But not only that, it's like don't resist the thing that is triggering you in a negative way. What you want to do, this is the second part that he talked about, you go to the place where you know that your focus and your future needs to continue to be in. He talks about, he would go to his job as a mechanic every day. And he said that he could do that stuff blindfolded. So where he was mentally was where he wanted to be for the future, building his Isagenix business, becoming an Isagenix millionaire. Even though he was in a mechanic shop, with grease on his hands and like the whole thing. But in his mind, that wasn't where he was, because his reality wasn't going to be what his truth was. And that is really, I think, what captures my imagination. And he says that it's a constant kind of devotion and commitment. You really don't want to turn that volume down too low. You want to really be, as much as you are conscious, aware that you're living into that future that you've designed. He keeps going back to the template, and he says, don't change the template that much. I mean, like, keep it consistent. Keep the template so that you can be focused on it, because it's like that little picture in that projector. You don't want to keep taking a picture out and putting a new one in. Then you have to start over in essence. So take your focus, take that beautiful picture of what you want for your future. And in your day, even though it doesn't look like it's aligning, like, I'm walking into the kitchen that I don't love, right? I'm walking into my kitchen, but I have this vision for my kitchen, right? And it's like Daria, she had a vision for her home, even though she loved her home, her husband wasn't in alignment. She wanted to, she wants to have it be alignment for everyone in her family. But she found it. I mean, I think it's crazy. She didn't even tell her realtor what she had written down. And they sent her one listing. Oh my gosh, guys, that's it. That's it. That's happening right for us right here and now. So I just want to presence us with that. get on those Monday calls, guys, in the morning, or listen to them afterwards. But you know what? I know the trick is be there when it's happening. Because if I had to do it an hour later, I'm going to find a reason not to do it.
That's
Can I just
awesome.
say one thing that's funny about what you think about comes about? Well, the buyer we heard is 73. So, you know, in my family, we always come up with a story. If you don't know the story, you make the story. And Steve's like, yeah, it's a couple. He's, you know, probably a doctor and this, and he had this whole scenario, and we kind of made them old, 73 and older. And it might be because my neighbor is 80 and a little bit older. She's sweet, but she's in an 80-year-old body. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be great? And then all of a sudden I came out of the bedroom and I said, they could be 73-year-old bikers, you know, because we have friends that are bikers and they're 50 something. I said they could be Lisa and Kirk when they're 70. And the Saturday, the last open house, we drove by a few minutes before the open house was over, and there was a 70-year-old biker walking down my front steps, holding on to a couple that was a little bit older than him. He had a red Harley Davidson out in front of our house, and he had a long white beard and a headband and a leather vest. And Steve's just going, this is just too much. I don't believe they're the buyers, but there was a 70-year-old biker on my front porch like 3 days after I got this vision. It could be a biker. So anyway, careful what you think about.
Well, and Daria, that's beautiful, because if we're really clear and our clarity for our own vision is specific, then the biker would be the one buying it. But the fact that the biker even showed up is pretty wild.
It's like it could
It's
be.
like push the ceiling up. That's what I said.
I hope it is the bikers personally, because then it would just be like, oh my God. I just had this vision. I had to come out of the room going, honey, it could be a biker. They could be bikers. So I'll keep you posted.
That's awesome. You know, you probably have prophetic gifting, which, by the way, all of us have. She practices it. You know, she practices that vision. Practice it with your cards every single day. And I mean, the stories that come out of doing that are phenomenal, because when you have that clear, crystal clear, and don't be changing it all the time, like Ariana says, like Dave said, just keep it the same and keep putting that vision in your mind. I can't wait for the stories that are going to show up, you know? So Ariana, were you finished?
I'm complete. Does anyone else want to add to this story?
Lynn, are you talking? Because if you are, you're muted.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Okay.
I would recommend, because I'm going to do it, is go back and do the training that Dave does on the template. And that's what it looks like. But he's got a specific training, and that's what he zooms in on. Like every day, he's looking at his vision and seeing, what's going to, keep him out of being self-betrayal and keep in efficient action and all. So I think that's powerful. And just about every call I'm on, he's always referring back to this. So if we get this down as well as our vision cards, I think it's powerful. And I've done it before, but I'm gonna do it again.
Awesome. Yeah. And there are days when I fall off and I forget to do mine, and I don't know, it just something gets in the way. Give yourself grace and get back on.
He calls that squirrels. I do that too. I find I chase more squirrels now that everybody's home. My kids are
I
home.
bet.
There's more time to play games and go out for coffee with my daughter. It's like, okay. Yeah, but it's
So
okay.
on next Monday's call, it's going to be a different team call. We're going to be starting our Bloom in June. We're already in an 11-day process, but we're starting a brand new one on Monday. And what we want to do is make sure that you invite the people that you invited into Bloom in June to, first of all, invite them to the Health and Wealth Facebook page, okay? And extend a personal invitation to them to join our call Monday night. And what we'll be doing is we'll be sharing stories and testimonies and before and after pictures and tips and, just something to really get them off on the right foot, in the right mindset, with hope and excitement about what they're doing. And we want you to share. So come ready and willing to share something about your journey in Isagenix, okay? And of course, tomorrow night is our monthly bingo game at 6:30 Pacific. And be sure and invite your friends to that. There's going to be prizes and fun, and there's going to be a specific theme. Everybody find a silly hat to wear tomorrow night. That'll be sort of the theme. And let's see a really good turnout.
If you can't find a silly one, just wear any hat. Maybe you can wear it in a silly way.
There you go. All right.
Is that
thank you.
5:30 or 6:30 PST?
5:30.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5:30.
Okay.
All right. Well, everybody have a blessed week. I'm going to be looking for your posts all about the seasonal shake. Let's take advantage of everything that Isagenix offers us, and promotions are great.
Did you notice that the seasonal shake is eliminating a shake a day?
Mhm.
You see that?
Mm-hmm. You can find that on Instagram, on the Isagenix Instagram account. So keep an eye out for that.
They eliminated mocha.
All right. Everybody have a blessed evening. Love you guys.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks.